Being a trophy husband wasn't exactly my career plan. It just so happened that my wife's father was the big boss of the firm where I worked. Our fate began with a poorly timed gift and a lucky cast of a fishing line. My name is Leo Miller. It's a plain name picked by my grandfather. I once asked him why he chose it, and he told me his idol was Leonardo da Vinci. He hoped I'd grow up to be a polymath and a genius. I couldn't help but roll my eyes at the explanation. If your last name is Da Vinci, you can call yourself anything and sound brilliant. But as Leo Miller, calling myself a Renaissance man just makes me sound like a delusional hipster. Case in point, I recently blew a major project. During the board meeting, the CEO tore into me in front of everyone. The company had been restructuring lately, and it was a safe bet that my name was at the top of the layoff list. With my future looking like a dumpster fire, I spent my days looking like a Shar-Pei, constantly frowning, face sagging with worry. I stopped going out for drinks with the team. I was usually the life of the party, but I turned into a total gloom and doom case. My work buddy, Caleb, saw me moping and pulled me aside. You need to buy the old man a gift. Get him in a good mood, and he won't fire you. Heck, he might even promote you. That's a terrible idea, I snapped. He's the CEO, not some mid-level manager. You think he's hurting for cash? I can't afford anything he'd actually want. And even if I could, I'm not selling my soul for a middle management gig. Caleb rolled his eyes, spoken like a man who's about to be unemployed. Look, the CEO doesn't need your money. The gift is just a conversation starter. It's about showing him you've done your homework. It's about sincerity. Sincerity? I asked, skeptical. Don't be dense. You have to hit him where his heart is. You play to his hobbies. Do you even know what he likes? Of course I don't. He's the CEO. I'm lucky if he remembers my department. Caleb smirked and pulled out his phone. Buy me dinner tonight, and I'll give you the golden ticket. Desperate times called for desperate measures. I agreed. He opened his photo gallery. I haven't shown this to anyone. If I didn't think you were about to get the boot, I'd keep this to myself. I leaned in. It was a photo of our boss, Arthur Sterling, dressed in casual outdoor gear. He was beaming, holding up a massive striped bass that had to weigh at least 30 pounds. I caught him in the wild while I was out with my girlfriend, Caleb said. Which girlfriend? I asked. Caleb waved me off. Not the point. Now you know his obsession. Go play to it. I never held a fishing rod in my life. After work, I hit up a high-end tackle shop. I didn't have time to learn how to fish, so I figured I'd just buy him the best gear money could buy. I thought, how expensive can a stick be? In a tiny boutique shop, the top-of-the-line rod was $8,000. Apparently, it was high-modulus carbon fiber, the holy grail of freshwater fishing. I thought they were scamming me, so I went to another shop. Then another. They only got more ridiculous. Some were gold-plated, others had diamond inlays. I didn't get it. It's just fishing, not a heist at Tiffany's. Still, for the sake of my paycheck, I swiped my credit card for a rod that cost nearly 10 grand. The next problem was delivery. I knew where Arthur lived because I'd once dropped off files for his secretary. I'd sat in the car, though. I'd never been past the gate. Just showing up felt too aggressive, too desperate. A craftsman is only as good as his tools, I told myself. So for the next few days, I stayed up late binging fishing tutorials on YouTube. I wanted to be able to talk the talk when I handed over the rod. If I played my cards right, I wouldn't just keep my job. I'd be on a fast track to a VP spot. The thought gave me a rush. Finally, on a Saturday afternoon, I drove out to the gated community where the Sterlings lived. The guard at the gate asked for my business. I'm here to see Mr. Arthur Sterling, I said. One moment. I'll call the residence. Just then, the head of security walked over. Hey, I know you. You're the guy who helped me move those heavy crates a few months back when your secretary was in a rush. I nodded. I'm surprised you remember. He offered me a cigarette, which I declined. I know everyone in this neighborhood, he said. Most visitors treat us like furniture. You're the first guy in 6 years who actually offered a hand. Go on it. He waved me through, and I drove up to the mansion feeling like I'd already won half the battle. I parked on the street, grabbed the boxed rod, and walked up to the front door. I took a deep breath, checked my reflection, and rang the bell. The door was opened by a young, strikingly beautiful woman. She looked a little younger than me, wearing an apron and yellow rubber gloves. She was holding a plunger and looking at me with pure confusion. I figured she was the maid. I had to hand it to rich people. Their hiring standards for domestic help were apparently Victoria's Secret model. Can I help you? She asked. I gave my best professional smile. I'm looking for Mr. Sterling. Is he in? Bad timing. He just stepped out. Did you need something specific? Not really. I'm with his company. I was just in the neighborhood and thought I'd stop by. Since he's out, I'll head out. I turned to leave. Wait, she called out. I stopped and looked back. Man, this maid is informal, I thought. Not even a sir, or excuse me. He'll be back in a bit, she said. You want to come in and wait? Opportunities like this didn't knock twice, and I knew my name was on that layoff list. I stepped inside, swapped my shoes for a pair of guest slippers, and clutched the fishing rod box. She pointed to the sofa. Seat. I have a situation to deal with. She didn't even offer me a glass of water. Arthur definitely hired her for her looks rather than her hospitality. Whatever. I wasn't there to judge the service. The house was breathtakingly expensive. The TV was larger than the projector in our conference room. The sofa was so soft it felt like sitting on a cloud. It sprang back to life the moment I shifted. There was a wall of wine behind glass, climate-controlled with a faint mist. A humidor nearby was packed with cigars I'd only seen in Bond movies. As I was admiring the lifestyle I couldn't afford, a sharp yelp came from the bathroom down the hall. Are you okay? Don't come in, she shouted. Too late. I'd already pushed the door open. The smell was, let's say, unfortunate. Water was everywhere on the marble floor. I helped her up, catching a glimpse of the toilet. Gross. She turned bright red, standing on one foot and shoving her hand over my mouth. Don't look. I helped her over to a chair in the kitchen. Is your ankle okay? She glared at me, her eyes fierce. What happens in this house stays in this house. You tell a soul about this, and I will make your life a living hell. Hey, relax. Do I look like the type of guy who gossips about plumbing? Her gaze softened slightly. Better not be. I looked around the kitchen. Is your foot all right? You have a first aid kit? I can help. She shut me down immediately. No. I figured she was just proud. Look, we're both just working for the man. Don't be shy. Help is help. Her eyes flickered with a thought. If you really want to help, go fix that toilet and mop up the water. I agreed, but she insisted on taking my phone first. She was actually afraid I'd take a picture of the mess. Unbelievable. Did I look like a creep? Are you helping or not? She asked, hand on her hips. I felt like I owed her something for some reason. Besides, if I helped her out, maybe she'd put in a good word with the boss. I stuffed 2 wads of paper towel into my nostrils, closed the toilet lid, and mopped the floor. Then I went to the kitchen and grabbed a pot of boiling water and some dish soap. She watched me, curious. I asked you to plunge it, not cook it. What are you doing? A little life hack, I said. I poured the soap and hot water in, let it sit for 10 minutes, then used the plunger with a quick, vertical burst of pressure. The water level plummeted instantly. I hit the vent fan and closed the door. She raised an eyebrow. It's clear. I puffed out my chest and walked toward her. Of course it is. She held up a hand to stop me. Don't come any closer. Did you wash your hands? I rolled my eyes. Yes. I used the tool, not my bare hands, for heaven's sake. She lowered her hand. Not bad, MacGyver. It's nothing. But I have to ask. As the housekeeper, shouldn't you know how to handle a clog? She looked down at herself, then back at me. I'm new. Still learning the ropes. Why didn't you just call a plumber? Were you afraid the boss would fire you for being useless? She nodded. Exactly. My boss is, well, he's a bit of a cheapskate. Tell me about it. He's my boss, too. We're basically colleagues in different departments. I leaned in closer. But seriously, does the old man eat a lot of red meat? That was a heavy hitter back there. She gave me a playful shove. Shut up. You can't talk about the boss like that. Aren't you afraid I'll report you? Come on. We're in the same boat now. You wouldn't sell me out, would you? She didn't answer right away. Instead, she asked, so what else do you guys say about him behind his back? We're too busy working to talk, I lied. She waved a hand dismissively. Oh, please. He's not here. She tilted her chin up. What? Afraid I'll snitch? No, you don't seem like the type. Tell me then. I'm dying to know what the employees think of him. Since she'd opened the door, I let the floodgates open. Honestly, he's a piece of work. For starters, look at that face. He's got a scowl that could curdle milk. You'd think everyone in the world owed him $50. When you do something right, nothing. When you mess up, he goes off like a grenade. If there were subtitles for his rants, it'd be nothing but asterisks. I paused. They say daughters take after their fathers. If he has a daughter who looks like him, she's doomed. No one would marry into that. She swatted my arm again. Talk about him all you want, but leave his family out of it. I laughed awkwardly. Right, Anyway, the guys think he's a miser. No team dinners, no bonuses, nothing. Once, he asked me to grab him a coffee. I bought it, thinking it's just a cup of coffee, right? I'll treat the boss. He insisted on Venmo ING me, talking about how young people need to save their pennies. So he knows it's hard to make a living, yet I've been there 5 years and haven't seen a raise. In fact, he's looking to fire me. The kicker? He Venmo'd me exactly $5.50. Like, thank for the change, big spender. She actually burst out laughing at that. I'm serious. And what is up with his wardrobe? He wears these bright, multicolored suits like he's a tropical bird. The guy is almost 60, and he dresses like he's trying to headline Coachella. It's embarrassing. She immediately jumped to his defense. I think it's fine. It makes him look energetic. He's just trying to connect with the younger generation. I gave her a thumbs up, spoken like someone who wants to keep her job. But seriously, I continued, his business ideas are wild. He complained once that he couldn't find our company's products on Google easily. He told us to stop wasting money on SEO and just build our own Google. I expected her to howl with laughter, but she just looked at me solemnly. Is that so impossible? We're a mid-sized firm, not Silicon Valley. It was a bit much. She huffed. Sounds like you guys just lack ambition. Hey, whose side are you on? Watch your loyalty. She rolled her eyes. I'm on my own side. I checked my watch. We've been talking so long, it was almost lunchtime. Where is he? Is he coming back or what? How should I know? She said casually. Why don't you call him? Yeah, right. I'm not that brave. I stood up. Look, I'll just come back another time. You're leaving? Well, yeah. You're just gonna leave me like this? She pointed to her wrapped ankle. I can barely walk. If the boss comes home and there's no lunch on the table, I'm toast. I felt a pang of guilt. I took off my blazer. Fine, I'll help you out, but you owe me. When he gets back, you tell him I'm a saint. She tossed her apron at me. Deal. I opened the walk-in pantry. It was stocked like a gourmet grocery store. I could have lived off it for a year. What does he like to eat? I called out. She sat at the kitchen island, chin in her hand. You sound like you actually know your way around a kitchen. I grew up in a restaurant family, I said modestly. I can whip up the basics. Okay then, how about sweet and sour ribs, honey walnut shrimp, and some spicy kung pao chicken? I stopped. Are you trying to kill him? What do you mean? That's all high sodium, high sugar, and grease. He has high blood pressure, doesn't he? He should be eating lean protein and greens. Just admit you can't cook it, she teased. Besides, who's the boss of this kitchen? Me? Or you? Fine. But if he gets a stroke, don't blame me. Just cook. He'll be here soon. I spent 45 minutes at the stove. When I finally plated the food, she grabbed a fork and started digging in. Wow, this is actually amazing. I pulled the plate away. Hey, this is for the boss. If he sees half of it gone, he'll think I ate it. He won't care, she said, waving a hand. She pointed to the wine wall. Go grab that bottle of Margaux in the top left. I felt like the roles had flipped. Now she was the boss and I was the help. I grabbed the wine, and she had me pour it into a decanter. Once I was done, I sat down next to her. Your boss is pretty cool with the help, letting you eat at the table and drink the good stuff. She glared at me. Why are you sitting next to me? Well, I can't exactly sit in his chair, can I? She smiled. You're a weird guy. What's your name? Leo Miller. And you? Ava. Ava, huh? I joked. Nice. Sounds like a movie star. It's Ava Sterling, she said. Wow, the boss is really old school. Does he make all the staff change their last names to his? Is this a cult? She huffed. No, you idiot. My last name is actually Sterling. Right, sorry. My bad. She poured 2 glasses of wine and pushed one toward me. Talking doesn't count. Drink this. Consider it an apology. I shouldn't. This is for the boss. There's plenty more. He doesn't count the bottles. Still, what if he smells it on me? Relax. He won't be back until 10 tonight. I promise. What? I stood up. You've been playing me. If he's not coming back, why do I have to cook all this? Calm down. So I needed a little help around the house. We're a team, remember? You said it yourself. I sat back down, defeated. Fine. Free food is free food. But I'm skipping the wine. I have to drive. She pushed the glass closer. I'll get you an Uber. I know the guys at the gate. We ended up talking for hours over the food. She was easy to talk to, and the wine was incredible. As we were clearing the dishes, she asked, So, Leo, you have a girlfriend? Don't even go there. Single and staying that way. Ava looked skeptical. I don't believe that. You're decent looking. You have a good job. What's the catch? I lower my voice. The truth? I'm kind of terrified of marriage. There's no such thing as being terrified of marriage, she said. You just haven't met the right person. Maybe, but I've seen too much. Like what? It's just a commitment. Commitment? I grew up around failed marriages. Domestic disputes, cheating. I once saw a guy's wife run off with his life insurance while he was in the ICU. People are crazy. Ava looked at me, stunned. You grew up around that? How? Like I said, my family ran a restaurant. We had a regular who was a high-profile divorce attorney. He'd spend every night at the bar venting about his cases. Oh, I see. A restaurant, huh? Is it famous? Not really. Just a local spot. Comfort food. We finished cleaning up. The kitchen gear in this house is insane, I noted. I'd love a set of these knives. You like them? Come over and cook more often then. I thought you'd offer to buy me a set, I joked. But then again, on a maid's salary, that'd take a year. She swirled her wine. You look down on housekeepers? Not at all. I respect the hustle, especially someone as pretty as you. You could be a trophy wife, but you're working for a living. That's impressive. She touched her cheek. You think I'm pretty? You're not bad. She suddenly stood up, took a step, and then winced, falling forward. I lunged to catch her, and she ended up pinned beneath me on the floor. What was that move? I groaned, as I'd taken the brunt of the fall. I tried to go to the bathroom and forgot about my ankle. You okay? She looked up at me, pouting. It hurts. Want to take a look at it? I offered. She hesitated, then nodded. Okay. Can I ask for one thing first? What? Can you get off me? You're heavy. Hey, I didn't ask you to be my human cushion. She wiggled a bit, just to be annoying. I held up my hands in surrender. Fine, my fault for being a gentleman. Please, oh great one, have mercy and let me up. Fine, since you apologized so nicely. Bless you. As I started to sit up, a pair of expensive leather shoes appeared in my line of sight. I looked up, following the shoes to the tailored suit, and finally to the face of my boss. Arthur Sterling. What on earth is going on here? This is highly inappropriate. Get up. Now. I scrambled to explain, but Ava beat me to it. Dad? You're home early. I froze. Dad. Ava reached over and smacked the back of my head. What are you ing for? He's my dad. I felt the blood drain from my face. Mr. Sterling, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. I thought she was the... Arthur's face was like stone. What did you get into my house? I tried to turn around. Sir, if you could ask your daughter to step aside so I can stand up properly, I'd like to show you some respect. Arthur glared at Ava. Get up, Ava. She made a face, gave me one last shove, and limped over to the sofa. What happened to your foot? Arthur asked. She pointed at me. It's his fault. I gasped. That is a total lie. I was helping her. She poked my forehead. You expect to get away with bullying me? You want a piece of me, Miller? Arthur stood with his hands behind his back, looking stern. Ava, knock it off. I can see you're the one pestering him. Thank God, I thought. A fair judge. Then Arthur turned to me. Now, what are you doing here? I watched Ava limp toward the bathroom, and once the coast was clear, I ran to the hallway and grabbed the gift I brought. Mr. Sterling, I said, bringing the box into the living room. I've recently taken up fishing, but my skills are, well, non-existent. I was looking for a mentor, and everyone I talked to said the same thing. They said, if you want to learn from the best, look no further than your own CEO. Arthur Sterling is a legend in the community. I could see the corners of his mouth twitching. He was trying to hold back a smile. I went for the full dramatic effect. I actually knelt down and held the box up with both hands. I'm here to ask you to take me on as an apprentice. This is a humble token of my respect. Please, master, accept your student. They say a man's pride is expensive, but today I was cashing all in for job security. I didn't see his face, but his voice told me I'd hooked him. Well, Arthur said, his tone softening. You're certainly persistent. I suppose as your leader and elder, I could offer some pointers. But as for being a master, please, master, I am truly sincere. It's a sensitive time at the office with the restructuring, Arthur mused. If people find out you're my apprentice, they'll call it cronyism. Time for the gambit. To avoid any gossip, I'm willing to resign if it makes things easier for you. You'd quit your job for fishing? You must really be passionate. And to think I was actually considering promoting you to project lead. I knew that was a lie, but I played along. I just love the sport, sir. A man needs a hobby. Arthur nodded, satisfied. True. Very true. Tell you what, I can't just take on any student. We'll go out to the water right now. We'll see if you have the instinct. If you're natural, I'll take the rod. Just then, Ava came back out. What's this? Why are you on your knees? Dad, I have to tell you, you're being a bit old-fashioned. You can't make people kneel for apologies anymore. Besides, he helped out a lot today. Let him up. Arthur looked at her. This doesn't concern you. We'll talk about your behavior later. Ava wasn't intimidated. Are you guys going out? Take me with you. With that foot? No way. Stay home and rest. Ava grabbed his sleeve and started pouting. It's just a little twist. Please? I'm bored. Please, Dad. Arthur sighed, defeated. Fine. Go. You're a handful. Ava cheered and ran upstairs. I'm going to change. Don't leave without me. Arthur looked at me and shook his head. I've spoiled that girl. She seems great, sir. To be honest, I didn't recognize her at first. I really did think she was the help. Arthur chuckled. The housekeeper is away for a family emergency. I was worried she'd starve today, but it looks like you took care of that. We sat on the sofa for an hour, and Arthur grilled me on fishing. Luckily, my YouTube binge-watching paid off. He also spent a good deal of time bragging about how brilliant his daughter was, though he mentioned she refused to work at his company. All right, let's move out. Ava came downstairs, and my jaw hit the floor. She was a different person. Flawless makeup, a knee-length royal blue silk dress, and silver high heels. Arthur frowned. We're going fishing. Ava, not to gala. Go change. She huffed. You didn't say that. I'm not changing. Who says you can't look good while fishing? Fine, but don't complain when mosquitoes eat you alive. I have bug spray. I'll be fine. Arthur drove a massive SUV packed with every piece of fishing tech imaginable. Ava sat in the front, and I took the back. We drove out of the city, through the suburbs, and eventually onto a gravel road that led deep into the woods. If I didn't know this was my boss, I'd think I was being taken out for a hit. Mr. Sterling, I said, trying to break the silence. Any great fishing stories? It was the summer of '08. Arthur began, his eyes glazing over. Clear skies, light breeze. June 14th, for 20 p.m. Right here, a 25-pounder. I had him at the bank, but the net snapped. He got away. People say it's just a fish, that it wasn't meant to be. It's been 6,407 days since then. I hardly ever think about it. I laughed nervously. The guy was obsessed. We set up at the riverbank with 3 chairs. Arthur gave me a standard rod and kept a high-end one for himself. He lectured me on baiting and casting, then sat down, staring intensely at his float. Ava had kicked off her heels and was walking barefoot in the grass. She checked her phone and groaned. This place is a dead zone. No signal. How do you guys sit here and do nothing? Hush, Arthur whispered. You'll scare them. Suddenly my float bobbed. I grabbed the rod and yanked. Not so hard, Arthur warned. You'll snap the line. Ava ran over with a net. It looks huge. Arthur looked annoyed. Beginner's luck. I landed the fish, a decent-sized trout, and put it in the basket. I baited the hook again and cast. Within minutes, the float went under again. This one was a fighter. Ava helped me pull. Arthur stood up and walked over, scratching his cheek. I'll tell you what. Why don't you two take a break? Let me handle this spot for a bit. I handed him the rod. Almost immediately, the fish snapped the line and vanished. Arthur handed me a different rod. This one's better. That other one was cheap quality. 10 minutes later, I had another one. Ava didn't care about her dress anymore. She was cheering and showing off the catch to her dad. Look, Dad, this one's even bigger. Arthur's face was turning a shade of purple. It's a fluke. Everyone gets a lucky streak. When I started, I was catching monsters compared to these. Ava turned to him. And what have you caught today, expert? Fishing isn't about the catch, Arthur said stiffly. It's about the soul. It's about patience. Ava moved her chair right next to mine. I decided it was time to play it safe. Mr. Sterling, why don't you keep fishing? It's beautiful out here. I'll start a fire and cook up what we caught. Arthur kept his eyes on the water. Watch the fire's safety. As I started prepping the fish, Ava came over to help. I whispered, Look, about earlier today. I was just joking around. Please don't tell your dad what I said. She winked. Afraid of a little report? We'll see how you behave. I'm at your service. I opened the trunk and found a brand new portable stove and gourmet spices that looked like they'd never been used. As the fish started to simmer, I looked over at Arthur. He was losing it. He was dumping bait into the water by the bucketful. Ava walked over. Dad, are you trying to drown the fish or feed them? If they're full, they won't bite your hook. Will you keep your voice down? You're ruining the ecosystem of my spot. Arthur snapped. Ava pointed back at me. Leo's got the fish ready. Come and eat. Arthur sniffed the air. I'm not eating that. Eating fish you just caught lowers your IQ. Ava rolled her eyes and turned back to me. He's just grumpy. Let's eat. For the rest of the evening, I was terrified to cast another line. I felt like I should just jump in the water and hook a fish onto Arthur's line myself. Finally, his float bobbed. He jumped up, shouting, Don't anyone move. I've got this. After a 5-minute struggle, he pulled out a fish about the size of his palm. He stared at it, gave a little flick on its head, and threw it back. Go tell your grandfather to come see me. He turned to me. Well, why aren't you fishing? I rubbed the back of my neck. I just remembered I have a project proposal to finish. That can wait. Today is about the water. No work talk. I nodded, but to ensure I didn't catch anything else, I didn't even put bait on my hook. I realized then that the legend of the patient fisherman was really just a story about a guy who couldn't catch anything. Arthur's mood was darkening. If this kept up, I wouldn't be an apprentice. I'd be fired for having a lucky left hand. Plus, Ava was hovering around me. If Arthur thought I was hitting on his daughter, he'd probably use me as bait. Why are you sweating so much? Ava asked, handing me a tissue. It's just hot, I lied. It was nearly sunset, and there was a cool breeze. The lie was pathetic. Should we head back? I asked tentatively. Arthur wouldn't hear of it. We just got here. Fishing requires grit. If you quit now, you'll never be a lead. Ava groaned. Dad, give it a rest. You've been at it all afternoon and caught a sardine. Please, Ava, stop talking, I prayed. Fishing is about the process. I shouted, trying to save the moment. Arthur nodded approvingly. See? Leo gets it. I told you not to come, but you insisted. Now you're bored. Ava huffed. Fine. I'm going to the car. You two can stay here and get eaten by bugs. She stomped off, and I finally felt like I could breathe. Arthur sat there like a statue. The sun went down, and he still didn't move. I was worried about work tomorrow. No one checked Arthur's clock in time, but if I was late and told HR I was fishing with the CEO, he'd probably throw me in the river. Suddenly, a scream came from the car. Arthur bolted. What happened? I ran with him. We found Ava clutching her leg in the back seat. Something bit me. It hurts, and it's itching. I turned on the dome light, but it was dim, so I used my phone's flashlight. On her calf were 2 small red marks. Probably just a mosquito, I said. She looked at the twin marks. Mosquitoes don't bite twice in the exact same spot like that. It hurts way too much. You think it was a snake? I asked. Ava's eyes went wide. She scrambled further into the seat. A snake? I hate snakes. Is it a snake? It's possible out here. I read somewhere that if the bite has 2 distinct puncture marks, it could be venomous. Ava started to panic. Dad, help. I'm going to die. Arthur was frantically looking around for the snake. Ava was actually tearing up. If Arthur saw her crying because of me, I was dead. Don't cry. It might just be a spider or a weird beetle. But the seed of fear was planted. Am I going to die? She sobbed. I grabbed her leg. I saw this in a movie once. I'll try to get the venom out. Note, do not do this in real life. It doesn't work. I leaned down and did my best heroic attempt to help. When I finished, my mouth felt a bit numb. Probably psychosomatic. Do you feel better? She handed me a tissue. Wipe your face. I wiped away some stray saliva. It's fine. Aren't you worried you'll get poisoned? She asked, her voice trembling. I managed to smile. A fortune teller once told me I'd live to be 100. I'll be fine. You believe in that stuff? Only the good parts. It's a nice thought. You're a strange guy, Miller. You're probably a manager at the company, right? Manager? I'm almost an ex-employee. I'm working on it, I said. Just then, Arthur came back, looking pale. Get in the car. We're leaving. Now, what about the gear? The basket? I asked. Arthur ignored me and jumped in the driver's seat. Forget it. Just get in. Ava was confused. Dad, what's wrong? You were so stubborn a minute ago. Arthur took a deep breath. The fish were biting the wrong way. It's a bad omen. He drove like a maniac until we hit the main highway. Once we were surrounded by other cars, he finally slowed down. Dad, Ava said. Seriously, what happened? Arthur just muttered, dead fish hooking. It's bad luck. When we reached the city, Arthur realized the bite was still an issue. He sped toward the ER. Why didn't you say something sooner? I tried. You were too busy being a fisherman. Ava snapped. She looked at me. Luckily, Leo was there. He saved me. Arthur just grumbled. Ridiculous. The doctor looked at the bite and laughed. Relax. It's not a snake. It's a mountain fly. Their bites are nasty and look like twin punctures, but they're harmless. Just wash it with soap and use this cream. Outside the hospital, Arthur offered to buy me dinner. What do you want, Ava? Let's go home, she suggested. Leo's a better cook than any restaurant around here anyway. I try to be humble. It's just home cooking, sir. Mostly because your pantry is amazing. Arthur cleared his throat. It's been a long day. We'll eat out. Another time. Ava looked disappointed. After dinner, Arthur asked how I was getting home. My car is at your place, but I had some wine earlier. I'll just catch a cab. Leave your keys with me, Arthur said. I'll have someone drive it to the office for you tomorrow. Thank you, sir. Arthur looked at me with a twinkle in his eye. Still calling me sir? I grinned. Master. Going home, I was on cloud 9. That master confirmed it. My job was safe. I was basically part of the inner circle now. Promotion, here I come. The next morning, I strutted into the office. Caleb saw me and grinned. From the look on your face, the plan worked? Better than planned. I'm practically his right-hand man now. Don't forget who gave you the tip when you're a VP. I got you, buddy. Just then, Arthur's secretary walked in holding an envelope. Caleb nudged me. See? Promotion already. Drinks are on you tonight. The secretary dropped the envelope on my desk. Mister, Sterling asked me to give you this. It's $10,000. He's buying the rod you brought over. He also told me to tell you. Focus on your work from now on. Don't let this happen again. She walked away. I stared at the envelope. All that effort, and he just paid me off to keep things professional. Work is work, life is life. My heart sank. Caleb looked at the envelope, then at me. Hey, look on the bright side. At least he didn't fire you. There's still a chance. As I sat there wondering if I should start polishing my resume again, our manager walked in. Listen up, everyone. Put your work aside for a second. I want to introduce a new hire. A woman with long hair, a crisp white blouse, and a black skirt walked in. She was wearing an ID badge around her neck. Yabuna im Ava. I'm new here, so I hope we can all get along. In the middle of a massive downsizing, the company was hiring. The implication was obvious to everyone. The manager put his hands behind his back. Who wants to mentor our new colleague? Silence. Nobody was an idiot. There was an old saying, teach the apprentice, starve the master. In this climate, taking on a newbie was a liability. But I knew exactly who she was. If Arthur hadn't announced her identity, she was clearly undercover. I decided to keep my distance. He was my master, which technically made her my senior fellow student. While I was lost in thought, the manager stopped at my desk. Miller, you told me last week your team was shorthanded. She's with you. Sir, we are shorthanded, but we need veterans who know the business. She's what you've got. Don't be picky. It's settled. Ava, Leo Miller here is your mentor. Learn everything you can from him. Ava smiled brightly. Thanks, boss. Then she looked at me, her eyes sparkling with mischief. She held out her hand. I look forward to your guidance. Mentor. I shook her hand briefly and let go. The pleasure is mine. We'll learn together. The manager nodded and left. Ava leaned over my desk. So, mentor, where's my desk? I looked around and pointed to a dusty corner. You can set up over there for now. Why don't you set up over there? She challenged. I've been waiting for this. Fine, I'll move. She immediately grabbed my shoulder, pinching my arm hard, and leaned into my ear. What was that tone just now? You sound like you're doing me a favor. Am I a burden to you? No. I whispered back, forced to smile. I just didn't want to hold back a rising star like you in my dead-end department. She pulled my car keys out her purse. Cut the crap. You're driving me home after work. Excuse me? She pinched my cheek. Any problem with that? Don't forget, I know where the bodies are buried. You work for me now, and if anyone in this office finds out who I am, I will make sure you spend the rest of your life as a short-order cook. Got it? I nodded frantically. Caleb watched from a distance, shaking his head in pity. In his eyes, I was probably seconds away from being fired by the new girl. She didn't move to the corner. She dragged a chair right next to mine. This wasn't a mentorship, it was a stakeout. The CEO's daughter was my new supervisor. Later, in the break room, I was getting Ava coffee. A group of women were gossiping about Arthur. Did you see the CEO today? He's like a different person, one said. Usually he looks like he's sucking a lemon, but today he was actually smiling at people. You think he's hitting on me? Dream on, Brenda. But you're right, the meeting was shorter, and he didn't do that whole circle talk thing he usually does. Ava leaned in, curious. Who is this lemon sucker you're talking about? The women stopped and looked at her, then at me. Leo, who's your friend? New hire, I said. I'm showing her the ropes. Oh, well, honey, the lemon sucker is the big boss, Arthur Sterling. Ava frowned. Why do you call him that? It's our nickname for him. It's out of love, obviously. Ava turned to me. Is that so? What could I say? Pretty much. Ava turned back to the group. So, what else do you think of him? Oh, don't get us started. I saw Ava's expression souring and quickly cut in. Ladies, shouldn't you get back to work? The butcher is on the floor today. They scattered instantly. Ava looked at me. And who is the butcher? I didn't give him that name, for the record. I said, I won't tell. Who is it? Victor Vance, head of corporate restructuring. The guy in charge of the layoffs. Never heard of him. Of course not. He's mid-level. He doesn't even get to sit in on the meetings you're used to. Speak of the devil. Victor Vance walked in, one hand holding a coffee, the other in his pocket. He looked at Ava. New face. Who are you? New hire. I answered immediately. She started today. Victor scowled. Did I ask you, Miller? Shut up. Ava stepped forward. And who are you? You don't have a name tag. For all I know, you're just some guy who's lost. If he didn't answer you, you'd be standing there like an idiot. I tapped Ava on the shoulder, tried to signal her to cool it. Victor set his cup down. Listen, newbie, you might think you're disrupting the workplace, but this is Sterling Group. Save the TikTok attitude for someone else. You're the butcher, right? The company gave you power to trim the fat, not to act like a little king. Victor crossed his arms. Interesting. You got a lot of nerve. You think you've got backing? Let me tell you, plenty of people with connections have come through here and failed. I can have you out of here with one phone call. Understand? I don't think. I grabbed her arm and pulled her away, smiling at Victor. Mr. Vance, please excuse her. She's new. She doesn't know any better. It's my fault. Victor snorted. Control your people, Miller. I dragged Ava into the stairwell. She immediately grabbed my hand and bit down on the meat of my palm. What was that for? I yelled, checking the teeth marks. Why did you stop me? Because you're supposed to be undercover. No new hire talks to an executive like that. If you make a scene, your dad finds out. If he takes your side, he loses his authority. If he punishes you, he's miserable. It ruins the whole point of you being here. She thought about it. Okay, that makes sense. I guess I was impulsive. She looked at my hand. Did I hurt you? It hurts a lot. She punched my arm. You're a man, quit whining. Back at my desk, Caleb leaned over. Man, you move fast. Is the lonely bachelor finally settling down? What are you talking about? Everyone saw you two in the stairwell. People are talking. I put my head in my hands. Oh man, it's over. What's the problem? She's gorgeous. She's out of your league. Actually, you should be happy. You don't understand. Whatever. Just don't let someone else steal her. I sat up straight. Please, let someone steal her. I'm begging you. Ava came back from the restroom. Steal what? Are people stealing our leads? Caleb leaned against my chair. So Ava, how old are you? Ava looked at me, then at him. Why? Just curious. You don't ask a woman her age. Caleb laughed. My mistake. You have a boyfriend? I know a guy. I glared at him to shut up. Ava smirked. Really? When can we meet? Caleb patted my shoulder. He's standing right. I jumped up. Ignore him. He's a clown. Stay away from him. Ava looked at me defiantly. He's trying to set me up. That sounds nice. Why are you so bothered? Caleb laughed. Exactly. At lunch, Caleb sat across from us. He spent the whole time telling Ava about my glory days and embarrassing stories. Ava was laughing so hard she was slapping my arm. I couldn't even get a bite of my sandwich. Finally, I put my fork down. All right, that's enough. We get it. I'm a loser. Can we talk about something else? Caleb pointed at me. See? He's sensitive. He's getting defensive. Ava looked at Caleb. Seriously though, why doesn't he have a girlfriend? I heard the company allows office dating as long as it's not in the same financial reporting line. Caleb shrugged. He's picky. He's at high standards, Caleb continued. He's waiting for a silver spoon type so he can retire early and be a stay-at-home dad for a CEO's daughter. Ava laughed even harder, gripping my arm. Is that right? I wanted to crawl under the table. He's joking. Besides, why would a CEO's daughter look at a guy like me? Ava smiled. Maybe she's got a thing for fixer-uppers. Ava was clearly not meant for office life. While I was typing away at a report, she suddenly slumped over and rested her head on my shoulder. Before I could even react, a loud snore filled the cubicle. The entire floor went silent. Everyone stopped working and stared. Caleb leaned over. Your apprentice really takes the work-life balance seriously, doesn't she? I was panicking. Stop making jokes and help me wake her up. If the manager sees this, I'm dead. Caleb looked at me like I was insane. She's on your shoulder, man. You move. She wakes up. Why are you asking me? The truth was, I didn't dare move. This was her company. She could sleep on a bed in the middle of the lobby if she wanted to. She's just adjusting to the new environment. I muttered. Caleb sighed. Suit yourself. Good luck explaining this to the boss. Fortunately, the manager didn't show his face all afternoon. Her snoring softened. I pulled out my phone and recorded a quick video of the scene. This was definitely going to be the talk of the office. When she finally blinked her eyes open, her first question was, what time is it? You've got an hour till clock out. You could probably squeeze in another nap. She sat up and yawned. Why is your shirt wet? Did someone cry on you? Caleb walked by. Ava, Ani, are you playing dumb? That's her drool. Ava turned bright red. I am so sorry. I'll wash it for you. Don't worry about it. I said, terrified of her touching my laundry. I'll throw it in the machine at home. Caleb chimed in. Why are you being shy, Leo? An apprentice washing her master's clothes is a grand tradition. Just then, I got a text from Arthur. He wanted to see me in his office. I warned Caleb before leaving. Don't say anything stupid to her. You hear me? I got it. I went up to the executive suite. Arthur told me to sit, but I stayed standing. Mr. Sterling, if this is about my performance, I'm ready for the feedback. Arthur smiled and waved a hand. Relax. Are you wondering why I paid you for the fishing rod? I nodded slowly. Don't overthink it. First, you're a young guy starting out. You shouldn't be dropping 10 grand on a gift. Second, a friend of mine saw that rod and wanted it. I didn't want to give away a gift you gave me, so I bought it from you so I could justify giving it to him. Since I'm your master now, I don't need your money. Just come fishing with me when I ask. I was about to give a heartfelt thank you when the door burst open. It was Ava, of course. No one else would dare. Dad, what time does this place close? Why is everyone still here? Arthur's face clouded over. Ava, what did I tell you? At the office, it's Mr. Sterling. You should learn from Leo. He never calls me master at work. Ava groaned. Fine, Mr. Sterling. Can we go? This place is a cemetery. It's so boring. Arthur pointed at the stack of files on his desk. Does it look like I'm leaving? Ava put her hands on her hips. I didn't ask about you. I asked if I could leave. Arthur sighed. Go. Just go. Ava didn't even look back. She grabbed my arm and hauled me out of the office. Hurry up. If we don't beat the rush hour, we'll be stuck in traffic for hours. Your car is so uncomfortable, too. When you get a new one, tell me. I'll pick it out. As if I can't just get a new car, I thought. In the parking garage, I nearly fainted. She had parked my car in the CEO's reserved spot. Arthur's Mercedes was parked across from it in a regular spot, flanked by empty spaces. "Look at that parking job," she bragged. I saw the spot, and it was huge. I don't know why everyone else is squeezing into those tiny ones. I got in. The car smelled like expensive perfume. There were stuffed animals in the back seat. "Is this still my car?" I asked. "I thought you looked lonely driving by yourself," she explained. "So I brought some friends to keep you company." I made a mental note to check for bugs or GPS trackers. As if reading my mind, she pointed to a plush bear. "Relax, it's just a toy. I'm not spying on you. Good to know. Not that I have any secrets from you." At a red light, she asked, "So, what do you do for fun besides fishing?" "I'm a pretty boring guy. Not many hobbies." I noticed. No music in the car, either. "You're a rare breed, Leo. No desires, no vices." "Oh, I have desires. I'm very interested in a raise." "So, are you using my dad to climb the ladder? You want to marry me for the promotion?" She punched my shoulder. "I am kidding. Don't look so serious." The light turned green, and I stepped on the gas. "Nothing you want to ask me? I don't like prying into people's business." "You're such a blockhead. Has a girl ever actually chased you?" "Never," I said firmly. She huffed. "Makes sense. Who'd be interested in a statue?" "Back at the mansion," she flicked on the lights. "Stay for a bit. Dinner can wait. I should get started on it. What are you in a mood for?" She went to her walk-in closet and brought out a crisp white shirt. She held it against me. "Put this on. It's new, never worn." The fabric felt like silk. "It's fine, I'll just wash my old one." "Do you want that promotion or not?" she threatened. "If you want to move up, do what I say. That shut me up." My old shirt went into the trash, and I put on the designer piece. After I cooked, she suggested a drink. I really shouldn't. I have work to finish at home. Is work that important? Easy for you to say, I thought. Your house, your wine, your life, it's all funded by people like me working. But I kept it to myself. I have to be responsible to the clients. She rolled her eyes. "Fine, you overachiever." Dinner was almost over, and Arthur still wasn't home. "Is it just you and your dad in this giant house?" "I told you, the housekeeper is away." She didn't want to talk about her mom, so I didn't push. I stood up to leave. "Can you wait until my dad gets back?" she asked softly. "I don't have anything to discuss with him. Just stay for me? My dad will count it as overtime. I hate being in this big house alone. I get creeped out. Don't you have friends you can call?" She shook her head. "Most of them are back in Europe. You're the only one here I can actually talk to." I didn't know what to say. The silence was heavy. She stood up and patted my shoulder. "Follow me." We went down to the basement, which turned out to be a high-end home theater. "What do you want to watch?" "I have everything." I hadn't been to a theater since college. "Whatever you want." "Are you brave?" "I have some horror classics." "Let's stick to a comedy," I suggested. She was already scared of being alone. Why watch a horror movie? She picked a movie, and we sat in the center seats. It was a perfect setup. She laughed throughout the movie, and, at the funny parts, she grabbed my arm or punched my shoulder. She wasn't refined at all. Nothing like the Ice Queen heiress I'd imagined. She was a total brat, clearly raised on a steady diet of whatever she wanted. Near the end of the film, the screen suddenly went black. The equipment whirred to a halt, and the dim emergency lights flickered on. Ava shrieked and threw herself onto me, gripping my arm with a death lock. I patted her back. "Easy, easy. It's just a power outage. Let me go check the breakers." "Don't leave me," she whined. "I'm not leaving. I'm just checking if it's the house or the whole block." "No." My sleeve was being stretched to the breaking point. "Fine, come with me. We can't stay in the dark forever." She reluctantly agreed. I asked where the electrical panel was, but she had no clue. I used my phone as a flashlight and searched the likely spots while she gripped my belt, following 2 inches behind me. In the end, I had to call the estate security. They sent an electrician over within minutes. The box was in the garage, and once he flipped the switch, the house blazed back to life. After he left, I looked at Ava, who was still holding my belt. "Can you let go now?" She pulled her hand back. "Oh, right. Thanks for being here. I don't know what I would have done. I didn't really do anything. The electrician fixed it. But you called him. I would have just sat there and died of a heart attack." It was after 10 when Arthur finally stumbled in. He was clearly drunk. His driver and personal assistant helped him through the door. I hid in the kitchen. Ava whispered to me, "This is my house. Why are we hiding? I don't want the whole company knowing I'm at the boss's house in the middle of the night with his daughter." "So what? They'll just be jealous." "You saw the girls in the break room. They turned a normal dinner into a tabloid scandal." They left Arthur on the sofa and headed out. Arthur waved them off, then leaned over and threw up into a bucket. I couldn't help it. I walked out. "Master, you all right?" Arthur was too busy being sick to answer. I made him some honey water and cleaned up the mess. When I was done, Arthur looked at the ceiling and muttered, I'm getting too old for this. I walk back to Ava. Who is he talking to? Who knows? He does this every time he's drunk. I ask him the next day, and he doesn't remember. It's actually kind of creepy. I walk back to Arthur. Master, let me help you up to bed. Arthur looked at me, his eyes unfocused. Who are you? Master? You got the wrong guy. I'm not Luke Skywalker. Ava laughed. Don't bother. He'll fall asleep when he's done with his drunken rant. And what about me? If you're tired, I'll show you the guest room. I didn't have much of a choice. Ava led me to the second floor. My room is right next door. Want a tour? No thanks. I'm not interested in a girl's bedroom. As she was leaving, she looked at me curiously. Sometimes I wonder if you're actually this dense, or if you're playing hard to get. Hard to get? Me? I wasn't an idiot. I knew she was showing interest. But I also knew that marriages without social parity rarely ended well. A guy like Arthur would want a son-in-law with a trust fund or a political pedigree, not a guy who struggled to pay his car insurance. In the middle of the night, I woke up to the sound of the door opening. My heart skipped a beat. Is she actually coming in here? Is this the overnight success they talk about? Should I stop her? Should I pretend to be asleep? The person climbed into bed and wrapped their arms around me. The smell hit me immediately. Heavy bourbon and expensive cigars. It wasn't Ava. It was Arthur. I wondered if the staff called him Old Horse because of his long face or because he drank so much Hennessy. I tried to roll out of bed, but Arthur had a grip like a bear. The more I moved, the tighter he held on. Just then, the door opened again. Someone tiptoed in. Lau, are you awake? It was Ava. Ugh, sleeping like a log, she whispered. You know, the first time I saw you, I had a feeling. Like you were someone I could actually rely on. I've never felt that before. Do you think that's destiny? She was silent for a minute. If I was more aggressive, would you think I'm a bad girl? If you woke up and found me here, would you be shocked? Maybe I'd just say you dragged me in while you were sleepwalking. Then you'd have to take responsibility for me forever. I couldn't help it. That is a terrifyingly devious plan. Ava shrieked and dropped to the floor. You're awake. Why didn't you say anything? Just then, a loud snore erupted. Not for me. Who's in here? She asked, panicked. Who do you think? Dad? Why is he in here? He probably took a wrong turn after the bathroom. Can you help me? He's holding on really tight. Ava walked over. You're a young guy. You can't outmuscle an old man. She started trying to pry Arthur's arms off me. After a minute, she gave up. I can't do it. You have to push. I'm afraid I'll hurt him. He's the CEO. Ava suddenly leaned down and kissed my forehead. Fine, you're stuck. See you in the morning, fiancé. She slipped out of the room. I was stunned. Before I could process the fiancé remark, a hand slapped me right across the face. You ungrateful brat. Arthur muttered in his sleep. I saw stars. It was a 1-2 punch from the Sterling family, a kiss from the daughter, a slap from the father. I don't know if I passed out or just fell asleep from exhaustion, but when I woke up, Arthur was gone. I checked my clothes still on. I hoped the whole night was just a fever dream until I walked out and saw Ava leaning against the doorframe in a silk robe. Morning. Sleep well. I rubbed my cheek. Still sore. Not a dream. Where's your dad? Gone to work. I checked my phone. It was dead. What time is it? Why? You have plans. Work. It's Monday. She stood up and put a hand on my shoulder. What's the rush? With your new status, you really think anyone's going to dock your pay? I looked at her, confused. What status? Don't play dumb. My fiancé. You agreed last night. I did no such thing. I was being held hostage by your father. She suddenly lunged at me, wrapping her arms around my neck like a koala. Too late. You're caught. You're never getting away from me. I held her up to keep from being strangled. This feels a lot like kidnapping. What does your dad think? In this house, she said proudly, I call the shots. We've known each other for a week. This is insane. Even if you don't care what your dad thinks, my parents would have a heart attack. She bit my earlobe. Please. Your parents will love me. I am delightful. Can you get down? Nope. If I let go, you'll run. I can't run. I've basically signed my soul over to your family. I am stuck. She blew a puff of air into my ear. Stuck? Or just happy to be here? It felt surreal. I'd actually landed the boss's daughter. But even though we were engaged, in her mind, Arthur didn't give me a raise at the office. Was he waiting for the wedding? A few days later, while Ava and I were working on a contract, Caleb leaned in. You heard the news? I didn't look up. What news? Word is the boss's only daughter is working here. Undercover. In an entry-level spot. My heart jumped. Who leaked it? Where'd you hear that? It's all over the floor. He glanced at Ava, who was at the copier, then patted my shoulder. You must be kicking yourself. Why? Because you tied yourself down to the new girl so fast. You missed your shot at the inheritance. If only I hadn't pushed you two together, you could have been the prince of Sterling Group. He sighed and shook his head. You sound like you know who the daughter is, I said. Caleb rolled his eyes. Please. Everyone knows. Someone already beat you to it. I looked at Ava. Who? Victor Vance. The butcher. It makes sense. Arthur gave him all that power. He's clearly grooming him to be the son-in-law. I'm sure Victor won't make my life hard, I said, mostly to myself. Don't bet on it. That guy can fire anyone from a manager to a male clerk. He looked around. Maybe we should take him a lunch? Buy him something nice to make sure we're on his do not fire list? Forget it. Last time I took your advice and bought a gift, it cost me 10 grand and a slap in the face. Just then, Ava came back and wrapped her arms around my neck. What are you guys gossiping about? Caleb grinned. Just telling Leo that the boss's daughter is working here as a regular employee. Ava pinched the back of my arm. I winced. I didn't say anything. I don't know how the rumor started. Leo's too busy with you to notice the rumors, Caleb said. I'm the one who told him. Ava let go of my arm. And where did you hear it? It's common knowledge. It probably came from the executive suite. Before Ava could grill him further, our manager walked in with another woman. Attention, everyone. I want you to meet Chloe Vance. She's transferring over from the finance department. Let's give her a warm welcome. I looked her over. Long wavy hair, designer blouse, limited edition handbag. She looked like she walked off a runway. Ava whispered in my ear, "Keep your eyes in your head, Miller." "I'm just curious," I whispered back. Caleb leaned over, his voice trembling with excitement. "That's her, the heiress." Ava looked at Chloe, then back at me. Chloe definitely looked more like a CEO's daughter than Ava did in her standard office wear. "Wait," I said. "The boss is Arthur Sterling. Why is her last name Vance?" Caleb rolled his eyes. "You think billionaires let their kids use their real names? It's for security, kidnappers and all that." It sounded plausible enough. The manager asked, "Who wants to mentor Chloe?" Hands flew up. Half the office stood up, eager to brown nose. The manager turned to Chloe. "Chloe, since everyone is so enthusiastic, I'll let you choose." Chloe scanned the room and locked eyes with me. That guy doesn't seem very excited. Does he have a problem with me? I looked around. Me? No. I'm already mentoring one person. I didn't want to hog all the talent. One or two, what's the difference? Chloe looked at the manager. "I'll go with him." The office erupted in jealous whispers. The manager walked over. "Good choice. Leo is our top guy. Chloe, feel free to ask him anything." Chloe held out her hand. "I'm in your hands, mentor. I'd love to take you to dinner tonight to celebrate." The manager coughed awkwardly. "I'll leave you to it. Everyone else, back to work." Chloe waited for my answer. I said, "I can't tonight." "Is there a problem?" My girlfriend is very strict. She doesn't like me eating with strangers." Chloe looked shocked. "You're married?" "Well, we're colleagues. How can I be a stranger?" Caleb jumped in, pointing at Ava. "They're not married yet. This is his girlfriend." Then he held out a hand to Chloe. Caleb. "Nice to meet you." Chloe ignored his hand and looked at Ava. "Well, if she's the girlfriend, and you're both new, why don't you both come tonight?" I expected Ava to shut it down, but she smiled. "Sure. Saves him from cooking. But just to be clear, I'm not the girlfriend. I'm a fiancé." Caleb gasped. "Wow, that was fast." Ava glared at him. "Shut up and move." Chloe looked around. "Mentor, where do I sit?" Ava pointed to the dusty corner she'd refused earlier. "That spot's perfect for you." Chloe pouted. "It's so far away from Leo." I rubbed my head. "It's only 3 steps." "Fine," Chloe said, clearly unhappy. At lunch, Chloe followed us to the cafeteria. She was getting nods and smiles from senior managers left and right. Caleb was buzzing. "You're the luckiest guy alive. You're basically the Grand Vizier now. Don't forget me when you're running the company." I shook my head. "It's just a job, Caleb." Caleb chuckled. "If you can manage that car." I cleared my throat loudly. "Watch your manners." Once we sat down with our trays, Ava picked up a piece of broccoli with her fork. "Sweetie, open up. I want to feed you." I felt my face heating up. "Not here. Everyone's watching." Ava practically forced it into my mouth. "So what? We do this at home all the time." Caleb poked at his rice. "You two are making me sick. Get a room." Ava leaned over and kissed my cheek. "Are we being too much? This is just our normal." Caleb grabbed his tray and stood up. "I'm out. I can't handle this much sugar." Chloe acted like nothing was happening. "You two have such a sweet relationship. I'm jealous." Ava set her fork down. "What about your boyfriend?" Chloe smiled. "I'm single." "Oh," Ava said. "Well, you should probably hurry." "You're what? 34? 35? I'm 29, Chloe said sharply. Ava put her hand over mine. "You've got that mature look." Chloe set her fork down too. "And you've got that youthful energy. It's almost childish." I could feel the sparks flying. Dinner was going to be an ordeal. In the afternoon, Arthur was away on a business trip. I asked Ava, "What are you going to do about the fake heiress?" Why do anything? She replied. I want to see what her game is. It's fascinating. Who plays the secret billionaire in this day and age? It's expensive to keep up the act. That bag? Fake. The shoes? Knockoffs. Fake? You sure? Ava snorted. Worst fakes I've ever seen. No designer puts a zipper like that on a luxury bag. But why doesn't anyone suspect you're the daughter? You have the same last name. Maybe my clothes are so expensive people don't recognize the brand, she said simply. I touched her sleeve. Is this expensive? She moved my hand. Not as expensive as the shirt I bought you. After work, Chloe met us at my car. She pulled out a set of keys for a white Lamborghini. The restaurant is a bit far. Want to take my car? I looked at the two-seater. We won't all fit. I'll drive. My sedan has plenty of room. Chloe put her keys away. If you insist, Minter. The restaurant was 5-star, the kind where the tasting menu starts at 500 a head. Ava barely touched her food. Not even half as good as yours, she whispered to me. Chloe leaned in. Leo cooks? That's so rare. I'd love to try his food sometime. Ava wrapped her arm around mine. Saw the private chef. Not for the public. Just then, the door to the private room opened, and Victor Vance walked in. Hope I'm not late. Chloe beamed. Not all. Sit down. I stood up. Mr. Vance. Victor nodded. Seat. Ava yanked me back down. I've told you before, Miller, have some self-respect. We all put our pants on the same way. No need to be so formal. Victor's face darkened. Chloe, you were doing so well in finance. Why the move to project management? I want to learn every aspect of the business. My dad would be disappointed if I didn't. Project work is a grind. Tell you what, I can talk to the GM and get you moved into corporate strategy with me. Chloe shook her head. No, if I keep jumping around, people will talk. At the end of the meal, the server brought the check. Chloe reached for her purse. Oh, I left my wallet in my car. I was so rushed getting into Leo's car. Victor waved a hand. Please, how about this? Ava rolled her eyes. Who even carries a wallet anymore? Use Apple Pay. My dad is strict about my spending, Chloe explained. I have a low limit on my phone. 4 big meals, I have to use his black card. Victor nodded. Smart. With all the identity theft these days, physical cards are safer. Chloe smiled at Victor. Thanks, Victor. I owed you for tonight. Victor beamed. Don't mention it. What's next? Ava kicked my foot under the table. I got the hint. It's late. We should head home. Ava stomped on my foot. My dad is strict about my spending, Chloe explained. I have a low limit on my phone. 4 big meals, I have to use his black card. Victor nodded. Smart. With all the identity theft these days, physical cards are safer. Chloe smiled at Victor. Thanks, Victor. I owed you for tonight. Victor beamed. Don't mention it. What's next? Ava kicked my foot under the table. I got the hint. It's late. We should head home. Ava stomped on my foot. Wrong hint. Why go home now, she said. Let's go to a club and relax. Victor agreed instantly. I think that's a great idea. Chloe bit her lip. I'm not much of a drinker. I might embarrass myself. Ava slapped the table. Don't worry about it. It's all in good fun. Victor looked at Chloe. I'll handle the tab. Let's go. This was my first time in a high-end club. They even stamped my hand with UV ink at the door. Victor seemed like a regular, greeting the host by name. We sat at a VIP table, and Victor started ordering bottles. Ava whispered to me, You and Victor are driving, so no drinks for you two. We'll play a game. If you win, Chloe drinks. If Victor wins, I drink. Victor's all in. Deal. Bring the cards. Chloe was a shark. She drank at least 2 bottles of champagne and didn't even blink. She didn't even go to the restroom. I lost more than I won, and by the end of the night, I had to carry Ava back to the car. She was sprawled in the back. I could go another round. Bring it on. Be quiet. I snapped. You can't hold your liquor, so why do you suggest a drinking game? She sat up and hugged the back of my head, kissing me. Baby, I love you. You're so cute when you're mad. Stop it. I'm driving. You're mean to me. My dad is never mean to me. Ava, if you don't settle down, we're gonna get pulled over. Then we're both in trouble. She gave me a wicked grin. Is that a challenge? I'm convinced she was faking her drunkenness. Luckily, the housekeeper, Mrs. Higgins, was back, so Ava had to behave herself once we got inside. She didn't try to ride me like a horse in the living room this time. The next day, I don't know what happened between Chloe and Victor, but Victor suddenly requested a transfer to a regional branch. With the butcher gone, the office was much more relaxed. The layoffs seemed to be over. Caleb was relieved. Good thing I didn't buy him that gift. It would have been a waste. Chloe was still at my heels, calling me Minter this and Minter that. She'd wait until Ava was away and then start laying on the charm. She'd even accidentally brush her foot against mine under the table at lunch. I finally had to ask, Chloe, you know I'm with Ava. Why are you doing this? You've heard the rumors, right? I have. So, Every man in this office is tripping over himself to get my attention. Why are you so indifferent? Do you really love her that much? Or do I just not have it? I'm not a cheater, and how you look doesn't matter to me. I know you're not just some guy, Leo. You're hiding something. We're a perfect match. Your girlfriend can't help your career. Break up with her. I'm the one who can get you to the top. I was confused. What makes you think I'm hiding something? I can tell. You probably have a net worth in the millions. You're just here at Sterling Group to learn the ropes before you take over your family's empire, right? I was speechless. Emilio? Was she talking about me? My silence only confirmed her theory. She leaned in. You don't want people knowing your real identity. I get it. Okay, you win. But if you're the boss's daughter, you have to prove it. There are a lot of scammers out there. She smirked. You're cautious. I like that. I'll prove it. Tomorrow is my birthday. Come to my villa. Just us. I'll show you the life we could have together. After she left, I pulled out my AirPods. Did you get all that, Ava? Loud and clear. I'm dying to see what her villa looks like. A humble abode to prove she's an heiress. This is going to be great. Chloe's birthday wasn't a holiday, so I had to take a personal day. Ava gave me a diamond necklace to give to Chloe as a gift. I told her it was too much, but she insisted. You have to spend money to catch a thief. If you don't play the part, she won't show her hand. Chloe's eyes practically turned into dollar signs when she saw the diamonds. She had me put it on her immediately. She traced the stones with her finger. My, with your salary. This would take 10 years to pay off. You really are loaded, aren't you? The fake heiress knew her jewelry, at least. We got into her white Lamborghini. She leaned over to buckle my seatbelt and gave me a lingering kiss. If Ava knew about that, she'd skin me alive. The drive was oddly familiar. We were heading toward Ava's neighborhood. The guard at the gate recognized Chloe and waved her through. She pulled into the driveway of a mansion, and for a second, I thought she might actually be Ava's long-lost sister. Inside, Mrs. Higgins was cleaning. She froze when she saw us. Chloe turned to me. This is my housekeeper, Mrs. Higgins. Mrs. Higgins looked at me, then at Chloe. Mr. Miller, please don't take this the wrong way. Chloe is my daughter. She's gotten ahead of herself. Chloe froze. Then she turned on her mother, furious. Are you crazy? I'm not your daughter. I'm the Sterling heiress. Mrs. Higgins turned to me, her eyes pleading. Mr. Miller, please don't tell the master or the miss. It's my fault for raising her with these ideas. I'll resign today. Just please, don't be hard on her. She just got lost in the fantasy. She grabbed Chloe's arm. Chloe, this is Miss Ava's fiancé. Chloe's face went through 3 different colors. You knew. You knew the whole time. My fiancé wanted to see how far you take the act, I said. Chloe looked at the floor. What was the point? Why does she get everything just by being born while I'm looked down on? Just because her dad has money and I don't even have a father. You're wrong, I said. Ava has never looked down on anyone. She doesn't care about the money. Easy for her to say. Would you have married her if she was broke? Actually, yes. Before I met her, I wasn't even planning on getting married. I liked her before I knew who her father was. Rich people always have the right answers, Chloe spat. Wrong again. I'm just a guy. My family runs a small restaurant. Ava and her father both know that. To be honest, I'm the one marrying up here. Chloe took off the necklace and shoved it at me. Take it. Keep it. It was a birthday gift. She set on the table. I have some pride left. I don't need your pity. Chloe resigned the next day, and Mrs. Higgins left too. The house felt a lot quieter. I finally asked Ava about her mother. She leaned into me, her voice soft. My parents divorced when I was 3. I went to Europe with my mom. I didn't even know my dad was rich. Life was hard over there. He never helped us. I didn't even know who he was until my mother was on her deathbed last year. I stroked her hair. I'm sorry. I had no idea. You know why I'm afraid of the dark? I shook my head. When I was little, my mom had to work all night. She couldn't afford childcare, so she'd lock me in our apartment. The power went out all the time in that neighborhood. One night, a candle tipped over while the power was out. The place caught fire. I almost died in that apartment, trapped in the dark. Ever since then, the darkness just feels like it's closing in on me. I held her tight. You're never going to be in the dark again. I promise. She pressed her face against my chest and nodded. On our wedding day, Caleb, my best man, pulled me aside. Seriously, how did you land the boss's daughter? Give me the secret. I told you. I went fishing. Man, you must be a pro. That was the catch of a lifetime. Caleb became obsessed with fishing after that. A few months after the wedding, I was out at the river with my father-in-law. Caleb was standing nearby, still trying to learn the master's secrets. Ava came marching down the bank, looking furious. What time is it? Why aren't you home? I instinctively covered the back of my head, blocking her first swat. I ducked the second one and caught her in a hug before she could kick me. I gave her a quick kiss. Honey, just 5 more minutes? She turned bright red and went all shy. Fine. 5 minutes. Caleb sighed. Man, she's got it bad. 1 kiss and she's a kitten. Ava immediately turned and swatted Caleb. Did you drag him out here? Not me. I swear. I saw Arthur nearby, shrinking away from his daughter. If you're hitting him, you can't hit me, he called out. Ava even glared at a guy walking his dog nearby. I was pretty sure the dog was about to get talking to. When we got home, I asked, what was the emergency? She grabbed my hand and led me upstairs. In the room. Now, it's broad daylight, Ava. She didn't say anything until we were in the bedroom. She handed me a medical report. I scanned the terms. HCG levels. Progesterone. I looked up at her. What does this mean? She pinched my cheek. It means you're going to be a father, you big dummy. I looked at the report again, focusing on the tiny grain of rice-sized shadow in the ultrasound photo. That's ours. The doctor says it's about the size of a blueberry right now, but it already has a heartbeat. 110 beats per minute. I couldn't stop smiling. Should we tell our parents? Let's wait a bit. I want this to be just ours for a while. That night, we sat on the sofa for hours, imagining what the baby would look like and what names we liked. Ava said she was already craving pickles and ice cream. I made a mental note to stock the fridge. You want a boy or a girl? She asked. As long as they have your eyes, I don't care. I hope they have your heart. Ava leaned her head on my shoulder, her voice trailing off as she got sleepy. Good, I joked. 1 butcher in the family is enough to keep us all in line. Hey, I'm not that mean. She fell asleep in my arms a few minutes later, a peaceful smile on her face. I carried her to bed, tucked her in, and rested my hand on her stomach. A new life was starting, a little miracle that belonged to both of us. Story complete.